Hello, everybody. What's up, my good boxing people? This time I have only one fight to talk about because there's only one, as far as I can see, that is really worth talking about next weekend, and that is Rolly Romero versus Teofimo Lopez. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, there's a woman's fight that is slightly interesting, but I'm not going to talk about it. And yeah, in general, this summer hasn't been exactly full of really good fight cards. uh, but this time, at least, we have a big fight to look forward to this Saturday, and hang on, is this not a title fight? Maybe not. I thought it was. All right, just a quick look at these people. Rolando Romero. So, he beat Ryan Garcia in his last fight. He is the WBA welterweight champion. Yeah, so interesting. Here it doesn't say that this is for WBA title. All right. So Rolly Romero. He's 30 years old. He's been in there against, elite level fighters, some of them anyway. Not as many as Teofimo, though. Of course, his first really big fight was in 22 against Gervonta Tank Davis. He was doing well there until he got hit with a body shot in the sixth round. Yeah, and then he also lost to Isaac Cruz in the eighth round TKO. I saw that fight live, and yeah, he was just not doing. He had no answer for Cruz's style, a pit bull. You need a shorter guy who came on, comes in on the inside and throws a lot of punches, fast hands. Rolly Romero is more like a puncher, yeah, like a really heavy-handed hitter, puncher. And but he's not somebody who throws that much usually, in a fight. His fight against Ismael Barroso was interesting. He came back after being dominated to stop the guy. That's because he's got that kind of power. And and then Ryan Garcia. I actually haven't watched that fight. I'm ashamed to admit yet, but he put Garcia down, and Garcia's only loss had been previously to Tank Davis himself. So he looks headed in the right direction. However, now Teofimo Lopez, he also he got two losses, and that was in his last fight when he lost to Shakur Stevenson for the WBO light welterweight title. He had been there, the champion for quite a long time, since beating Josh Taylor at 23. So, it's just a case of him, Shakur Stevenson being too much for him, simply the great talent, the great boxer, the technician, great defensive fighter as well. Yep. All right. So Teofimo hasn't actually scored a knockout. Wow, this is a long time, since 22. Jeez. He stopped the lesser known Pedro Campa, who had a really good record, however, a Mexican. And the seventh round, that was after the Cambosos debacle. Of course, the greatest name victory or Teofimo's career record is Lomachenko. Of course, 2020. I thought that was a really close fight, and Lomachenko was just recovering from a shoulder injury, so there's big question marks around that victory. So, but anyway, it is on paper his greatest victory achievement still, and since then, yeah, his second best win was against Arnold Barboza Jr., who was 32-0, was coming off a win over Josh. Oh, sorry, what's his name? um, damn it. Yeah, Josh Carroll, right? Yeah, Carroll. No, Jack Carroll. Oh my god, I don't know what's wrong with me today. Jack Carroll. So, yeah. So I don't know, man. I think Teofimo is the better fighter here, more talented. However, and he hasn't been stopped, and just the fact that he lost to Cambosos Jr., that was a huge upset. Huge. He got thrown off by the aggressivity of Cambosos. There was never a rematch, however. I believe he would have won the rematch, Lopez. And well, yeah, Josh Taylor, of course, a big name, a big victory on paper, but Taylor was already, as you know, shot worn, past his best on the slide. Still, thought it was a closer fight than many thought anyway, but two judges had it 115, 113. Yeah, I agree. It was a rather close fight still. Yeah, anyway, for this fight, let's go to this fight. So they are about equal in height, or equal, almost equal in age and reach, and both orthodox, stance. The thing is, the big difference is that Lopez had never been stopped. However, he's never had to fight guys like Tank Davis, despite so many, announcements or, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fight him, I'm gonna beat him, that stuff. Back and forth, they never fought each other, nor has he fought Isaac the Pitbull Cruz. So, we don't know how he would have done against those guys. And as I said, he hasn't scored a knockout at welterweight or even at light well. No, it has one at light welterweight, but only one. Yeah. So, and Rolly Romero has scored well, okay, sorry, not a welterweight once again, but he has scored more knockouts anyway, for sure. And I mean, his knockout percentage, their number of knockouts is the same, but Romero's knockout percentage is higher, okay? Because he's got less fights. Yes. This will be a very entertaining fight. I believe those guys are actually friends. So I don't know how that will affect the whole fight. I don't know if they will go all out, but I hope so. I think so. Still, it is important for them. Their image as warriors must not suffer. And yeah, so I think it will be a good, pretty even fight. However, I do lean more towards Teofimo because he's only been, has been beaten by Shakur Stevenson recently anyway. and I think he's learned a lot from the Cambosos loss, which was, I think he was just simply too confident and cocky at the time. Oh, I just beat Lomachenko. Who can beat me? What can go wrong? He hadn't fought for a year or so, and you know, but yeah, he's just a better fighter, I think, than Romero, simply. However, this will probably go the distance. Yeah, I can see it going the distance, really. Rolly Romero has, a chance to win on by a knockout because he's a big puncher, as I said. Yeah, I believe especially at this weight, he's a bigger puncher. Yes, so there's a lot to be looked forward to in this fight. And whoever wins this can be, of course, and will be just propelled towards a major fight against, well, now I don't know if someone like Tank Davis is gonna fight at welterweight, but let's look at these ratings now for welterweight. So yeah, Devin Haney, yeah, that's right. We have Devin Haney, Richardson, Hitchens, and then also Connor Ban and yeah, Jack Catterall as possible future opponents for whoever wins Brian Norman Jr., whoever wins Arnold Barboza, yeah, whoever wins this fight, anyway, okay. So yeah, my prediction is that Teofimo wins on points, and he is just a better all overall fighter than Rolly. Rolly is a He's a good fighter, definitely. He wouldn't have come this far if he was an elite level. However, he's what we used to call back in the day before A minus to B plus fighter. Okay, something like a B plus, I would say. While Teofimo Lopez is more like an A minus. So yeah, that's the difference. Okay. All right, that was it for now. Thank you and see you. Bye.